it's just seeing how African artists or other artists have just been going across countries. Even if you're not specifically from that country, you just make an effort to go to the neighboring countries to go push your music. I love that for you guys.
Yeah.
But welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself the way you'd like to be introduced. Mike.
Well, yes, I'm Mzungu Kichaa, and I'm a performing artist. I've been performing for I don't know how long, but I've 20 years maybe in the game.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I look fresh still.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you thought I looked like James Brown, right? He's the hardest working man in the business, right?
Absolutely.
But no, it's been great to be able to tour and to come here to the neighboring country, Kenya, which is almost like I feel it's a second home because I get received so well.
Yeah.
I haven't performed for a long time though, which is my favorite thing to do as an artist. The last time I think was I did Blankets and Wine a few years back, where I met Kidum because he also played that year or that month.
Yeah.
So it's just very good to be back.
Welcome back.
Now, Mzungu Kichaa, your Gina. Tell us about the history of the name. Because
Origin
Mzungu
story.
Kichaa.
Yeah, don't
Giving.
be scared of the name. I know a lot of Kenyans are scared of the name, but in Swahili, Tanzanian Swahili, it's not so scary. Nikiongea Kiswahili na nikiimba, watu wanajua kwamba Mzungu Kichaa ndo jina lake. Yaani inaendana kabisa moja kwa moja. Sio kwamba nina chizi. No, sina uchizi yeyote. I'm all right, right?
Yeah.
So I've had this problem in Kenya quite a bit, that it gets taken literally.
Yes.
I have this problem in Europe as well. You know, I had a funny story where I was traveling from Mombasa to Nairobi, and there was an elderly man, and we passed each other in the aisle, and I had just come out with this collection of T-shirts with branded Mzungu Kichaa. You know? So he looked at me and he started laughing, and then he's like, "Hey, you know, I have to tell you, you know, do you know what it says? You know, which is hilarious, you know." So that's been a challenge, but no, it was given to me by Juma Nature, who is one of the founding artists in Bongo Flava.
Absolutely.
So
Very good
I started all the way back then, and
Juma
I didn't
Nature
like
is-
the name either, to be honest.
Juma Nature is a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
He won MTV Europe best African artist back then. You know, 2005. I remember. You know, I mean, he's a legend.
He is.
When I went to perform in Kampala, I also asked, "Do you know Tanzanian artists?" You know, and I was surprised nobody knew Diamond at the time, right? But they knew Juma Nature, they knew Professor J. You know, so in that sense, you know, we also have to celebrate those legends, you know, and the fact that they've really made such big waves on the scene. But yeah, I didn't like the name either. So that's Mzungu Kichaa in a nutshell. I took it on, and it's become a big brand, and it's I'm stuck with it.
Okay. And we would love to know, how do you, Danish, find yourself living and growing up in Tanzania?
That's a good question, because you know, that's one of the things that confuses people a lot. You know, I mean, people in America, you know, are also wondering, like, especially when it comes to the fact that I'm a white Caucasian.
Very.
I think you know, I get, but you know, the people who actually reach out and say something like, "Are you appropriating culture?" Or say, "This culture vulturing has to stop." Like, those are from America.
Yes, yes.
They take it to the next level, right? Because maybe they don't understand what it is I'm about, and the fact that I grew up there, you know. So yeah, I grew up as an African child in a village in Zambia. Went to a government school because there was no international school in those parts of the country. So I lived that very local African life for about 3 years. and that kind of made me who I am today.
You have to be hardcore.
So even when I was 15 and I came to Dar es Salaam, to the cosmopolitan city, with diplomats and the yacht club and international school and all that stuff, I was still able to maintain or retain that those formative years in the way I learned Swahili very quickly. And, and I love music, so I will, I have a blog on my website, mzungu.com, where I talk about some of these problems, like of my identity, because I deal with them internally as well, who am I?
Yeah,
and then I talk about, I accept being a culture vulture. And I'm turning it into a positive thing, just like being crazy, Kichaa. I'm also trying to turn that into a positive thing.
You own it.
Yes, exactly.
It's a tough nut to crack, that one, because oftentimes, yes, the conversations of appropriation are very real and very, very true. However, at the same time, it's like it feels like you're denying yourself your identity if you then just succumb to okay, fine, I'll stop it then. So you then continue on by creating a brand new album called Tuko Sawa, and we're like, okay, what's that about? Because it's all Tuko Pamoja, sorry, and obviously it is fully Kiswahili, and continuing on with that pursuit of trying to become this, demystifying the vulture and making it look like an actual positive thing. So tell us about the creation of Tuko Pamoja, how that happened, and what the movement was.
So Tuko Pamoja was an album that I actually was recording at Bongo Records. And it got superseded or got sidelined because of the biggest Tanzanian artist at the time. He had to be focused. The producer decided to go with him.
Of course.
I mean, this is when Monefe and AY and all these guys weren't allowed in the gate, because they were trying to get in and try to do songs at Bongo Records.
What? Okay.
But it was me and this other artist. I got sidelined. I lost all the album, and then I redid it. I reconstructed it. I got the song that we heard earlier with Professor J. I got that out of the studio, and it featured on the album. But it was about. I decided, I was in Europe at the time actually when I produced the album, finalized it. I decided that instead of trying to appeal to the Western
demographic,
and what they wanted to hear, and I had to do reggae music, or I had to sing in English, I decided, let me just go all in and let me do what I feel is a heritage that I had, because I'd been at Bongo Records producing and writing songs, playing guitar on a lot of different tracks. And then I created this body of work. And it was, surprised the industry in Denmark, because the African diaspora, they celebrated it and gave me an award.
That's
So
amazing.
people from West Africa, Ivory Coast, this beautiful award ceremony where they're celebrating football players, professors, entrepreneurs, and then I got best upcoming artist. I mean, it was beautiful.
Confirmation that you're on the right track.
So then that's fine, but I was very intentional in the fact that I wanted to move back to Tanzania very quickly. So this was 2009, and I did that because I wanted to make sure that that people also understood that this was genuine, that my culture, or that I was representing this music in Swahili was truthful.
It wasn't a money grab or.
So I went and I got to Dar es Salaam. I set up a band. I got booked for Sauti za Busara. I played a killer show Saturday night. I got called up by Mandala TV in Nairobi. Come, we have a slot. And this is a true story. Many people won't believe it. I still don't believe it till today. But the producer of Mandala TV of the show, what's her show? Hey, it was a big talk show in Tanzania, in Kenya, in Nairobi, the Patricia Show. So back in the day, and he's, it was because they were looking for a star artist, and they'd been trying to get Yusundua. And that fell through. Mzungu come through. What an honor to start like that with a bang. So I came, and then because of them facilitating that, inviting me, it meant that I could perform at the Rift Valley Festival in Navasha. And I went on to play at Bayimba in Kampala. So it really started with a bang when I came back. And that was special. That was special because it meant a lot to me to have that acceptance, and
Yes.
that love from the people that I was singing to.
Yeah. And earlier on, you had mentioned that you've not performed in quite a while. Is that just in Kenya or just overall? Generally, you've not performed in a while.
Yeah, no, I've been doing these European tours, and I've always made such an effort to play on the continent. So, you know, I mentioned Uganda and Kenya, of course, but I've also been to Zimbabwe, been to South Africa. So that's always been at, you know, a thing that I want to do more than anything else. But I have been touring annually in Europe with a Tanzanian band. So I'm still very much supporting the industry back here in East Africa.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't performed in Kenya for a long
Or in
time. So
Kenya.
I know that there's kind of a slowdown in festivals
Yes.
for a lot of different reasons. But I hope that when these bigger festivals come up, that me and my Tanzanian band can come and entertain people again. That would be
That would be awesome.
It would be really cool. There's a
Enjoy.
blankets and wine happening, I think, at the end of the month. So
Yeah.
we would love to see you there.
Yes, yeah. I actually was about to book my ticket here so that I could make it on the
it was
the
Sunday, but
7th Sunday.
it got postponed.
Yes,
Yeah.
it did.
So
Tell us about the new album, Fade
Yes.
Away.
yes, Fade Away is an interesting album. It's a mature album. I did my young album about 2 years ago called Huyu Nani, which is more like urban. There's actually a gengeton kind of sound.
Oh, really?
Coming from reggaeton from Chile. There was a Chilean producer who helped me make that tune. But this Fade Away is a more mature album. I talk about some deep personal stories. I also include styles which are more old school. Like I have an amazing lead guitarist. I also play guitar. So we really worked on the guitars, the African guitars.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of Congolese guitar there, but there's also quite a bit of like Zimbabwean Oliver Mtukudzi style guitar. There's some acoustic songs. And the title track, Fade Away, is very much about this idea that that we will fade away despite all our successes and all our efforts, you know, and we build a big mansion. And,
sad.
you know, and all these, you know.
It's kind of
We're
sad.
not
No,
to
but
think about
think of it.
that.
You have to plaster that wall after a while, and you know, you definitely have to paint it, you know, regularly. So there's, you know, there's that sense of impermanence that that nothing is permanent, right? And then coming to terms with it. I think that was my process with that album.
Yeah.
You know, lakini naanguka nayo.
Hey.
So I'm still here. I'm still standing. Also.
Yeah.
And I'm always ready to collaborate, and,
Yeah.
and I'm doing some really cool like young music as well at the moment. I was in Arusha in the studio, and Arusha is like the sound of Nairobi as well. 'Cause they come here a lot. And they love hip hop and dancehall, and they have that Masai, which Nairobi also has. You know, that vibe, wa Arusha.
Yeah.
So it's a retrospective album, Fade Away.
Now, speaking about retrospective, or at least perspective, we speak about your song Uhuru.
Yes.
With everything that's going on, the protests that are happening, what is the cultural significance for you? What inspired Uhuru? And do you feel like it is something that you would want to be used as well with everything that's going on, that association of your music to something pertinent that's happening right now?
It's a protest song that's written in a respectful way to an African leader. I'm not pointing any fingers.
Yeah.
I'm being very quiet about the way I'm presenting the lyrics. If you notice, you know, I'm not, I'm not saying anything bad about anybody, but I'm saying that life is freedom. You know, life is freedom. We need to have our life. We need to be able to put food on the plate for our family.
True.
You know, these basic necessities are important, and nobody can deny that, right? So I can't get kidnapped. for that song.
Abducted.
Truly, I cannot, because Nei Wamitego, you know that guy. He's a very like socially conscious artist from Tanzania. He's a hip hop artist. He's written some very controversial songs, or anti-government. And he did one when Magufuli was in power.
Wow.
And the FFU, the Field Force Police, came and picked him up, Central Station. Everyone thought he's going in lockup. The Arts Council came out and said, "This is very bad." But he hit a
few nerves.
And Magufuli came and said, "Hey, that's good. Yes, you're right, and you could improve that song, and you're right to criticize this and that and the other." You know, so he couldn't fight that voice. You know, which also just shows that music has an important role, and I might not be the one to go head on with a leader. It's not my country, it's not my place,
But
right?
it would inspire.
But I do have some basic rights to express that freedom is important. It's important to free from your own mind. You know, sometimes we get locked up in our own minds, and we think that we're suffering when actually we have good lives and we have a rich life. You know, and it's just that's also what that song is about. You know, that coming to that realization that life is freedom.
And now you're in Kenya, you're in the middle of your media tour. Who would you love to collaborate with right now in Kenya?
Well, I gotta say that I've nimeanguka nao. Nimeanguka nayo.
That has really tickled you.
I have done that, and I've joined the TikTok challenge.
Love it.
So I'm looking forward to joining it with you guys in a minute. I'm sure I can convince you, right?
Absolutely.
We have a deal, right?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. On camera, there's no way they can say no.
Yeah.
So I had to take the opportunity. No, but this morning I heard Charisma for the first time.
Wow.
And what was amazing was I was sitting there watching the video, and I was getting ready for my interview, and I was playing along, and I could see everyone was like, "Hey, this is nice remix I was doing, right?" And then I said, let the camera roll, and when the music goes, and I'm gonna take over and sing that, because I literally caught the guitar and the riff and had lyrics. I said, I'm coming to Nairobi in Swahili, right? And I'm definitely going to find you there, like it was that kind of vibe. No, I really, really loved that. I resonated with it. And then, of course, I've done a song with Sauti Sol in the past. I've done a song with Della. And these guys are still friends, and we stay in touch. Last night, I was asked for a collabo by Kidum.
Oh, awesome.
And I'm going to honor that.
Love it.
This was when he was out playing, and he went as far as saying we're doing a whole album, which I was like, hey, hold on.
Calm down.
One song I would be very happy, because I've loved his music ever since I heard it, since his first hits, right? And it was just such a beautiful moment, because we got together last night for a drink, and then he says, I've loved your music since 2010.
Wow.
You're good. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
That the world is so small, and that we actually resonate with each other. I think that's really special, and I really appreciate it, and I'm very humbled.
Okay, and what exactly have you loved about Kenya? You have been here on and off, but what is it about Kenya that is attractive for you or to you?
I think when I graduated school in Moshi, Kilimanjaro, I came for a trip, just to celebrate with some friends. I had an Indian friend, I had a Burundian friend, and we stayed in an Indian quarters with some extended family, and we drove the Burundians' old Citroen car. It was actually with a diplomatic plate number, but a tire that kept falling off. And I was 20 years old, and I loved the nightlife, and I loved the fact that the girls were empowered. I felt, and that there was this middle class that was emerging. That I don't think it wasn't really there in Tanzania. So that kind of that culture and that vibe and the fabric of the city, I think, was something even back then. And of course, it keeps changing. Every time I come back, there's something new. One thing I want to say is that I find that Kenyans are very honest and very and speak their mind a lot, and I think that's something that I really enjoy as well.
Awesome.
So if we could push it a little further and push this agenda of being Kenyan, of all the African countries that you've toured in and you've lived in,
Which is the best?
you can't say Tanzania. You have to.
Which one? Gani, Chagua?
Okay. Now this is the problem with you guys. In
Our love language is
so
constant
you
reassurance.
and it's not a popularity contest.
It has to be. It has to be.
So this is where Kenyan Airways became Kenyan Airways and not East African Airways, right?
Well, it is Kenyan, you know.
We're not very proud of that
This story
specifically.
goes way back. It has long.
It has a
and
long
I've
history.
been researching it and I've been observing it. Right? I went and I'm a musician by profession, but I studied social anthropology. So I should be working for the CIA really. So I'm talking.
Okay.
So give me a job out there.
If you see him.
But what I want to say is that I observe culture and I look at how when you guys provoke Tanzania as well, right? About is Serengeti, Kilimanjaro is in Kenya and all that stuff, right? The way people freaked out in Tanzania. I was like, hey, take it easy, guys.
Yeah.
These Kenyans
We
are
still will not
We live and
We
claim
will
the
not forgive the
Kilimanjaro.
Ugali. I saw someone posting and saying
Yeah.
that Ugali is native to Tanzania. We're still not going to shut up about that one.
No, but the really hard dry valley is definitely yours.
What? Where? We're
We
catching
know where we
strays.
lie now, at least.
Yeah. But thank you so much for coming through. Do you hope to perform, in your time here in Kenya? We don't know how long you're going to stay for, but do you hope to perform, or is there anything we can look forward to?
Well, this media tour is really amazing, and people are really receiving my music really well, and thank you for having me. I think you can look forward to just following on social media, on my Instagram, and watching the other interviews, because I bring out the guitar. We didn't do that today.
Yeah,
but
where
we
is
had
it?
so much fun anyway, right?
Yeah.
So I am performing, and I realized that this is the best media tour I've ever had. I needed that friend with me, right? So it's about the music, and I can really I can showcase all that music that I've written for my people.
Yeah.
Which are you guys too.
Yeah.
Right. So thank you so much.
So what are the social media handles before we actually forget?
They are at Mzungu Kichaa. Very, very easy. And not Mzungu, but
Mzungu.
MZUNG.
Awesome.
Kichaa.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming through. When you're at the end of the tour, we hope you do circle back with the guitar, because we seem to have missed an experience that we would love. Okay? Yeah, so you said if you ask you on camera, you can't say no.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. So I'll come and do a special little,
Final lap.
not a lap?
No,
Lap dance?
when you didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll take that too,
No,
but.
I'll give you a private, little private performance. Right?
Okay, we would love that.
But first, we're doing the TikTok.
Of course, we have to
Absolutely.
anguka nayo at the end of the show. Of course, we're going to post it on socials, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much for
Yes,
coming
thank
through
you
for this interview. See you tomorrow.